Hi, I'm RJ Baxter with realestatetalkdenver.com, and I'm here with Amy Good from Good Mountain Real Estate and Property Management. And Amy's going to join us today and talk a little bit about property management and why we should maybe think about using a property manager if we have rental properties, and what are the advantages and disadvantages maybe. But first of all, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Amy. How long have you been in real estate?
Sure. I've been in property management for 14 years, and I've been
Okay.
in real estate for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to diversify and do both? Just out of curiosity.
Sure. It became the obvious step when we did property management. We started with just managing our own properties, and then realized that we could make this a career, and we're able to start to manage other people's properties. But with wanting to manage other people's properties, you do have to have your real estate license.
Oh, okay.
So that was our
I
next
didn't realize
logical
that.
step. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So how many properties do you manage?
33 properties currently.
Okay.
So we're starting to grow now. We definitely were smaller to begin with. Wanted to manage slowly our development and make sure that we were doing it right for our customers and our clients. And so now we feel like we've got everything in place as far as our systems and our controls to be able to best assist our clients. So
Okay.
now we're ready to really start rolling on gaining more doors.
Okay. Interesting. So do you do single family homes, duplexes?
Yep, we do duplexes, single family homes. We don't manage actual entire HOAs, but we do manage properties that have HOAs on them, apartments,
Okay.
condos, townhomes.
Okay.
And we are beginning to do some commercial property management also.
Oh, commercial. Like what types of properties with commercial?
Currently just small mountain commercial, just in the foothills in the Evergreen, Indian Hills, Kittredge areas, but
Okay.
just starting to make that move also as the next logical step.
Okay. So are you a West Side company?
Preferably, yes. We do have our 45-minute circle around our office that we're comfortable with managing, that we can get to and take
Okay.
best care of customers. So yeah, and we do go up the hill too, as far as Idaho Springs, Silver Plume, Bailey, those areas
Okay.
also.
Up the hill meaning up the mountainside,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
Okay. For
yes.
those of you that live in Denver and
Yes.
aren't familiar with that term, I live in Evergreen, so I know what
Up
Amy's
the
talking
hill.
about there. But, well, that's really interesting. So I'm a finance guy, and I don't really fully understand what property managers do. So can you explain to us a little bit more about what does a property manager do?
Sure, absolutely. I like to think that I help to manage people's assets and help them make their assets successful for them, so that they continue to be able to keep those and earn more for their retirement. So it definitely has to do with maintaining the property and managing not just the property, but the tenants that are in the property. Making sure, obviously,
Okay.
that we're getting the best qualified tenants for the property that are going to take care of our owners' properties, because it's very important, obviously, that that those tenants are people that are going to respect and take care of the property that we're managing for our owners.
Sure, yeah, totally. So you screen the tenants and...
Absolutely. We do our credit checks through one of the major 3 bureaus, and along with that, a background check. We have minimum requirements as far as income, and it can be combined incomes. We have minimum requirements on credit ratings also.
Okay.
And then obviously background checks as far as prior rental history,
Okay.
employment verification, and sometimes take it as far as their personal reference checks also.
Okay. So that's minimum, not minimal.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Just to clarify that.
Yes.
Okay. So you're looking for a higher quality tenant that's going to take care of the property and pay their
Absolutely.
rent and
Yeah. There's
that type of thing.
there's proven numbers that just not unlike the finance industry and
Sure.
mortgages and loans. There's statistics out there that people are going to be more likely to take care of things when their
Sure.
numbers are in line with requirements. And it's the same with rentals also.
Okay. So I think people are probably thinking, and I'm thinking this myself, why couldn't you just do that yourself? I mean, it seems like how hard could it be to pull someone's credit and
Sure, absolutely.
look at it and figure out who's going to be a good tenant?
Yeah. Having the systems in place is not easy. So for your individual owner that might own one or two residences, single-family residences that they want to rent out, they don't have the individuals that we have as far as people that are on our go-to lists, whether it be for a credit or background check. We have all those systems in place, and feel that we've chosen the best systems out there, and have been tried and true for us to help us find the best clients and tenants for our homeowners.
Okay. Have you ever had anyone come to you in a panic situation because they have a bad renter and they
absolutely
need help? And
yes.
Tell me about one of those.
Yeah,
I'm just
sure.
curious.
So inevitably, people are kind-hearted when they're owners, and it's hard for them to put somebody out on the street as they think of it. But when somebody isn't taking care of your property and isn't paying your rent, then ultimately they're hurting you. And that's honestly the way that I look at it when it comes to the business, because they are hurting owners when they're not taking care of the property and they're not paying their rent. And so it's not easy for people to make business decisions when it comes to that, because people's hearts usually are too large. And inevitably, people run into situations in their lives where they find it hard to pay their rent. But the fact of the matter is that business still has to be taken care of. And so I've had somebody saying, I'm 2 or 3 months behind. They're 2 or 3 months behind on rent. They have people living in the property that shouldn't be living in the property. They were supposed to be doing work to catch up on the rent on the property, and they're not doing that anymore. So I've been able to work with individuals and show them paperwork that needs to be filed and the steps that need to happen to get the people out of their houses, then get the house back to the condition that it needs to be able to rent it to the folks that we want to rent it to.
That's got to be hard to get a tenant out that's not paying the rent.
It is, and it is a process. I personally feel that Colorado in particular does have some slightly more owner-friendly rules than other states. However, it does take a long time, and you can be out a month's rent or more in that time period. And so taking care of the business and making sure that folks are paying their rent is very important. For the owners. And
well, I could see by taking the emotion away from it too, the owner's not the one collecting the rent from the tenant.
Absolutely.
That a professional like yourself is handling that kind of as the liaison would be an advantage.
Absolutely. And knowing the processes and knowing how to get people to understand that it's important and what the next steps are if they don't pay rent. Because you never want to have to kick somebody out of a house. That's not a fun thing to do at all. I
can't imagine.
No. I
don't think the tenants would be very happy.
No.
When you do that.
No. But when handled appropriately and properly, and from the beginning of the scenario, setting people up for success and setting expectations, that's number one. When I feel like I've given you all the information to be successful here, and maybe even provided you with other resources if you are coming upon hard times, then I feel like I've done my job. Okay.
So how does the process work if someone wants to hire a property manager? What do they do? Like when someone comes to you and they say, I might be interested in getting professional help.
Sure, definitely.
How do you analyze the situation?
Definitely. So going to the house, number one, is obviously one of the most important things for me, to get a feel for the home, for the surrounding area, for what kind of rent we might be able to get for them. Because ultimately, there are people that purchase homes for rental properties, and there are people that purchase homes that they're going to be their primary residence, and for whatever reason, they're not anymore. And so again, in this high rental market or high market that we are in Denver, sometimes it can be really hard to be able to make that home payment and pay any maintenance that needs to occur on the property and pay a property manager. So getting a feel for what the house is, what it might rent for, what the folks are wanting to get out of the property is very important, because it's going to need to make sense for them to be able to rent it and still be able to make ends meet as far as the property is concerned. So getting in there and getting an idea of what the house looks like and how easy it's going to be to rent, and just being very straightforward and upfront with people about some of the issues that might come up right away about a property. I mean, mountain properties, as we were speaking before, when you're on a crazy driveway and there's maybe some ruts in the driveway or whatever, it's going to be a certain type of a person that's going to want to live at the top of a mountain on a very crazy driveway. So there are things that you need to be aware of right away and be upfront with an owner about that might take it a little bit longer to rent and that type of a scenario.
So are there scenarios where sometimes you say to someone maybe it's not the right fit to hire a property manager? Like in the situation you were saying where maybe the numbers don't make sense. Or that type of thing.
And it might be, and are they willing to swallow so much a month that they're going to have to pay to keep somebody in the residence because they don't want to sell it? Maybe they're going to go away for a year or two for a job, but they ultimately want to come back and live in their home. So are they willing to make up the difference for those couple of years so that they don't have to come back and potentially buy a home in the same area for a lot more expensive depending on what's going on in the market.
Or if they're going out of state for a couple of years, so they don't have to come back and maintain the property or kick out a tenant, or
Absolutely.
They have someone professional there to handle it while they're out of town.
Absolutely.
I could see that being a big advantage, even if they are having to pay a little bit out of pocket to make that.
Well, and if somebody's purchased a rental property, no matter what, it's their asset, and you want to take the best care. But it's certainly a little bit more of a different scenario when it is somebody's primary residence that they've put their heart and soul into, and it's something that they absolutely love and don't really want to leave. So making sure that those people feel comfortable leaving for a year or two or whatever the case may be, and that their home that they love so much is going to be taken care of.
Yeah. Well, this is really interesting stuff. Is there anything else that any words of wisdom as a property manager that you would share with people that own rental properties?
Sure, I definitely encourage using property managers. The systems are there, the contacts are there as far as maintenance folks. Knowing what an emergency is and what an emergency isn't sometimes is interesting. And just as far as care of a property, educating is one of our company's goals. It's not just educating owners, but it's educating tenants. It's not just educating them for the house that they're living in now, but maybe for their home that they're going to buy in the future. Not everybody knows how to take care of a garbage disposal, or somebody who maybe has never lived in the mountains before and doesn't understand how a septic tank works or a well works. So educating people and making sure that they understand the systems of the home and how it works is incredibly important also. So that's definitely something that we take pride in. And communicating with people, and respectful communication with tenants and owners is very important in our company. Making sure that that everybody understands that we're all working together for each other's benefit. Okay.
Well, thanks for sharing all that. So we have 3 questions that we like to end every podcast episode with. So some fun ones. The first one is, what is your favorite place to visit in Colorado?
Okay. My favorite place to visit in Colorado, I believe RJ and I maybe have a little bit of a similarity, is Winter Park, Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Winter Park is our home away from home. We love skiing, we love mountain biking, we love jeeping, we love all that area has to offer. So I would say Winter Park definitely is our go-to. The summer concerts are phenomenal. The winter concerts, the Springtopia, just love Winter Park.
Yeah, it's great there.
Yeah.
So I picture you as one of those people that's going off the double black diamond, off the cliff type thing. That's you, right?
My kids right in front of me. Mom, come on!
And then you tumble down like a snowball.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they pick me up.
That's how I am. I'm like the snowball going down. Okay. So our second question for all our guests is, what is a favorite book that you have, or a book that you'd recommend to our audience?
Sure. Mine is a kid's book, and it's Gossie. It's the Little Duckling, and it was something I read to my boys, so it will forever be in my heart as my favorite book.
That's awesome. And then our third question we'd like to ask all of our guests is, if you could have any superpower, what would that superpower be?
I would have a healing superpower to heal people in time of need.
Interesting. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Well, great. Well, thanks for being here, Amy. Thanks for
Thank you.
sharing. I enjoyed very much hearing more about property management and how that all works, because that's a world that I don't know a lot about. So it's interesting to hear that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So once again, my name is RJ Baxter with realestatetalkdenver.com and Amy Good with Good Mountain Real Estate and Property Management. And we appreciate you guys joining us today. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.